Fear of aging is one of the commonest phobias we experience. And it makes sense. We think of aging as an inevitable decline, but it's not all doom and gloom. Some things do actually get better with age. And I'm not just talking about cashing in your pension or downsizing, I'm talking mind and body. Here's my list of some good and not so good things that happen as we age. I'm not talking about clothes or curtains here, but taste buds. By 60, most people lose over half of their taste buds. This really affects behaviour, and it's much more than just enjoying chocolate or cheesecake anymore. Loss of taste buds can lead to a dwindling appetite, which can lead to malnourishment and mineral deficiencies. We compensate for this by eating tastier foods higher in fat, sugar and salt. Think about your favourite foods. How much would your life be affected by not being able to taste or enjoy it in the same way? It seems like a small thing, but day to day not being able to enjoy food is one of the worst things that can happen to people, and it's not uncommon for people with a severe taste deficit to get depressed. Everyone knows you can't see as well when you get older, but what about hearing? Hearing loss can begin as early as your 20s, but it's so gradual that you don't notice it till about your 50s or 60s, if at all. It happens because the inner ear structures, which are involved in sound and balance, work less well. It's common too. By 65, 1 in 3 of us have hearing loss, and by 75, 1 in 2 of us. It's usually straightforward to diagnose once you realise you have it, and it's easy to manage too, and it makes a big difference to your quality of life, so it's definitely worth getting checked out. If you've ever had earwax that dampens down your hearing and then you've had it removed, you'll know what I mean. It's a very similar effect. You go from hearing only muffled sounds and poor detail to crystal clear surround sound audio. Unlike taste buds loss, you can prevent hearing loss to some degree. Avoid blasting music on your headphones, and if you're exposed to loud sounds, protect your ears. You hear it from your teens onwards. Enjoy it. You won't be able to eat like this when you're older. The warning about appreciating your youthful metabolism. As much as we scoff at those statements, they're doggedly true. Our metabolism does slow down as we age. Loads of bodily processes are linked to metabolism. Many become less efficient with age. Muscle mass is also linked to metabolism. The less of it we have, the less efficient our metabolism is. Muscle mass decreases from as early as our 30s, and we tend to be less active as we get older, which makes things even worse. We need muscle mass not just to look buff, but to be independently mobile and avoid pain. The human body isn't particularly well adapted to our internet surfing, YouTube watching, burger eating lifestyles. If we don't move and exercise, our muscles atrophy and turn into flab. This is bad because first we get fatter, which causes its own problems, and second because we get injured more, which means we move less than we did before, and then we get fatter, and so on and so on. As we get older, parts of our brain get smaller too. We start to lose brain cells at a rate of about 50,000 per day after the age of 30. More if you bang your head a lot. That sounds like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things and in the context of 100 billion brain cells to begin with, it's almost nothing. And technically we don't lose the brain cells per se, they just kind of shrivel up and stop working. But don't get me wrong, despite this, the aged brain is still very adaptable and powerfully interconnected. On the positive side, certain groups of elderly people have larger brains than average for their age. The brain just doesn't seem to shrivel up in the same way. They're known as super agers, and it usually translates into better memories and more preserved complex brain functioning. Getting older is synonymous with becoming wiser, which is true, and we do get better with age at understanding and using what we've learned. So how do you become a super ager? Well, it's a no-brainer. You cut down on the smoking, check your blood pressure and control it, and maintain an optimum weight. This can be a surprising one, but as we get older, we become more content. Gone are the anxieties of adolescence or the preoccupations of middle age. Happiness shows a U-shaped curve along lifespan. So as kids, we generally love life, but this goes down as we get older and get busier and have kids ourselves and mortgages. But after that, things start to look up again. All that's left towards the twilight of our lives is a bit more money, a bit more time, a social network, and a knowledge of what you do and don't like. It actually sounds kind of fun. And we're not only happier, but we're nicer too, more confident and less stressed, especially around the 60 to 80 year age range, because we're good at focusing on what's important, and we've usually learned a bit of emotional intelligence too. This is one of my favourite perks. I find it comforting to know that although most muscles and organs are slowly winding down, the immune system is still going strong. All those colds and coughs and runny noses you suffered over the years are paying their due in the form of a lifetime of broad immunity. Yep, there are over 200 types of common cold, and by the time you're in your twilight years, you've probably had most of them, and they'll never bother you again. If you're a migraine sufferer, there is a slither of bright light at the end of the tunnel. Once you hit your 70s, migraines usually and mysteriously disappear. Only about 5% of men and women with pre-existing migraines still notice them after 70. We don't know why, but it's definitely a win. Thanks for watching, and remember, getting older may be non-negotiable, but how we do it is largely up to us. Exercise, diet, quality relationships, and financial planning are all things that make old age a more pleasant experience. Thanks for watching. Till next time, stay healthy.